October 12, 2025. The world is on edge. In the North Atlantic, French special forces have seized the Russian-flagged supertanker Zaliv Amursky. This wasn't just law enforcement, it was a bold message to Moscow. The tanker, loaded with crude oil, was intercepted in international waters, turning a regional dispute into a global crisis. For months, Russia and the West have been locked in tension. This seizure is the spark that could ignite a larger conflict. French officials claim the tanker was violating sanctions, part of a shadow fleet funding Russia's military. Russia calls it piracy, a direct attack on their sovereignty and economy. The world is now forced to choose sides. This is more than one ship. It's about the future of global order. France, a NATO member and nuclear power, has taken a step many allies see as reckless. The Kremlin is known for strong reactions. The question isn't if Russia will respond, but how. Oil prices are surging, stock markets are tumbling, and diplomats are scrambling. This single event has exposed the fragility of international relations. Deep divisions within Europe and the West are now in the open. How the United States, Germany, and others react will be crucial. Will they back France or urge restraint? Every move is now fraught with peril. The world is on a knife's edge. The seizure of the Zaliv Amursky is a turning point. The stakes have never been higher. The French raid, codenamed Operation Sea Serpent, was swift and precise. Commandos Marine fast-roped onto the Zaliv Amursky from helicopters, while boats cut off escape. The Russian crew was caught off guard. The operation ended in under 20 minutes. No shots fired. France claims it was enforcing EU sanctions, targeting oil profits funding Russia's military. Paris argues it acted for Europe's collective security, not just its own. But the legality is hotly debated. This happened in international waters, outside French jurisdiction. Russia says it violates the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Legal experts are split. Some see justification. Others warn of a dangerous precedent. France's boldness has created a diplomatic nightmare. President Macron has positioned France as Europe's enforcer, but risks accusations of unilateralism. Acting without a clear international mandate is a gamble. If successful, Macron looks strong. If not, he could be blamed for a wider conflict. The world is watching to see if this gamble pays off. France's move has redefined the rules of engagement. The fallout is just beginning. Moscow's response was immediate and fierce. The Kremlin condemned the seizure as piracy and summoned the French ambassador. Russia's president warned of serious consequences, a clear threat. But behind the anger, Moscow is calculating its next move. Direct military confrontation with France is unlikely. It risks a NATO war. Instead, Russia may seize a French vessel elsewhere or escalate naval tensions in the Atlantic. The Northern Fleet is on high alert. A naval standoff looms. Russia could also launch cyber attacks or use energy as leverage, cutting gas supplies to Europe. The goal: make France pay, isolate Paris, and show the world the cost of challenging Russia. The next days will reveal Moscow's chosen path. The world braces for Russia's retaliation. The French operation has rattled NATO. Official statements urge de-escalation, but unity is fragile. The US supports France publicly, but is frustrated by the lack of coordination. Washington fears being dragged into conflict it didn't start. Germany calls for diplomacy, worried about economic fallout. Eastern European allies back France, seeing strength as overdue. The alliance is split. Different nations, different threats, different interests. France's independent streak has forced NATO to confront its divisions. The seizure is a test of alliance cohesion. Can NATO find a unified response, or will adversaries exploit its cracks? The stakes for collective security have never been clearer. The world is watching NATO's next move. The alliance's future hangs in the balance. Europe remembers how big wars can start with small sparks. The tanker seizure is the first move in a dangerous game. With French and Russian forces on high alert, the risk of accidental clash is real. A single miscalculation at sea or in the air could escalate rapidly. Both sides have nuclear weapons, raising the stakes to terrifying heights. If Russia retaliates, France will feel compelled to answer, risking a cycle of escalation. The conflict could spill into cyberspace, space, or economic warfare. The ultimate fear, a wider European war. The post-Cold War, peace is fragile, and the specter of major conflict has returned. The world stands at a crossroads. In Paris, the operation's success has sparked fierce debate. Macron's supporters hail him as a bold defender of French and European sovereignty. Critics accuse him of reckless adventurism, risking war with a nuclear power. The far right calls it an irresponsible gamble. The far left calls it imperial arrogance. Parliament is divided, demanding more transparency and questioning Macron's authority. The public is split, pride in the military, but anxiety over escalation and economic fallout. Macron faces pressure on all fronts: international crisis, domestic backlash. His leadership is under intense scrutiny. The political cost of this gamble is mounting. France's unity is being tested as never before. As tensions rise and information war rages, Russian media calls the seizure Western aggression, rallying domestic and neutral support. France frames it as law enforcement, upholding sanctions and international order. Western media echoes France. Russia pushes its victim narrative. China criticizes unilateralism, warning of global instability. Iran condemns the seizure, calling it a dangerous precedent. The battle for public opinion is fierce. Each side seeks to sway the world. Non-aligned nations are watching, weighing their support. In the digital age, narratives can shape outcomes as much as military might. The information war may decide who gains the upper hand. The world stands at a crossroads. The Zaliv-Amursky crisis could unravel decades of European stability. If Russia retaliates and France responds, escalation is almost certain. NATO's divisions could undermine Western security. Seizing ships in international waters risks making the oceans a new battleground. The global economy, reliant on safe trade, is at risk. A major Russia-NATO conflict would have catastrophic consequences. The world hopes for diplomacy, but compromise is elusive. Decisions in Paris, Moscow, Washington, and Brussels will shape the future. Will leaders choose restraint, or will brinkmanship prevail? The fate of one ship now symbolizes a world on a wire. One wrong move could plunge us all into chaos.